Hey fellow Nevillers, welcome back to the channel. I'm Sarah, otherwise known as Neville-a-holic. If you've been following the channel, you'll know that I read and share some of Neville's wisdom on a daily basis. It's just a personal challenge because I read it every day and I might as well share these marvellous teachings of truth. So welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to discuss Feel Deeply from 1969. As you can tell from the lecture title, my lovelies, today we're talking about feeling something deeply. Whatever that may be, you can have an inner conviction, which is another lecture from Neville, of course, because he's covered everything we need. Thank you, Neville. So today, Feeling Deeply from 1969. Neville opens the lecture with a fabulous intro. Let's read it. He says, "What you feel deeply is far more important than what you are thinking. You may think about doing something for a long time and never do it. But when you feel something deeply, you are spurred to act, and God acts." Acts. He who is the cause of all life acts through the sense of feeling. You can think 1,000 things, yet not be moved to act upon one of them. Totally true. A deep conviction felt is far more important than anything you could ever think. So there we go. Right at the beginning of the lecture is our slap, i.e. whatever it is we're trying to manifest, we have to have a deep feeling of it, a deep conviction. Personal share time. This morning I'm questioning myself about who's looking, who's even interested in what I'm doing here on the channel. And then I finally realised it doesn't matter what anybody else is doing, it's just what I'm doing, because there is only me. And consciousness is the only reality. Standing outside on the driveway at 5:30 a.m, I hear a bird singing. And I thought to myself, this bird just gets up in this tree, sings his head off. He pays no attention to anyone who's even listening. He doesn't even care. He just sings his head off. So I got over my pity party and decided to carry on with what I'm doing. Then Neville intimates to us, making sure that we're not just hearers only, that we are doers. So let's see what he says about this. How do you go about being a doer in place of a hearer only? By acting in faith. Scripture's central character, called Jesus, set no limit upon the love of God and the power of faith. In fact, all of his great deeds were prefaced with the words, according to your faith. Now, faith encompasses feeling. If you have faith, you will act. And if you act, God in you is acting. For God is your own wonderful human imagination, whose eternal name is I Am. Yes. Yesterday's lecture was about I am. He acts only when you feel it. So there's a big fat clue. He acts only when you feel it. As you know, fellow Nevillers, feeling is the secret of everything. It's what we feel is what we manifest. Neville says, he acts only when you feel it. This is true even in the most practical way. If I tell you what I would like to be and you tell me to go my way, as I am already it, and for one fleeting moment I see the world as I would see it if it were true, then turn and walk away, forgetting what the world looked like only a moment before, I am a forgetful hearer. So Neville's telling us right there. If you see your wish in your imagination, you're all amped up that you've got it, you're doing it, you've done it, you're going to continue to do it. And then all of a sudden you forget what it was you were doing, what it was you were wishing for, manifesting your desire. You're a forgetful hearer. Neville continues. But if I am a doer of the word and not a hearer only, I persevere. Or, as the word is translated in the King James Version, I continue in the state, for all things are possible to the power of the word. We'll quit the lecture right there because it's a massive one, just like they all are. So Neville's telling us to be a doer and not a hearer only. We have to keep the feeling alive within ourselves. We can't just do, what does Neville say? He says just do meditation in the morning, go out and do something in the afternoon, and then don't do anything at night time. You have to continue, be continuous in what you feel, what you're thinking, and what you're believing, i.e. you walk in faith. You walk in faith, you have that conviction within yourself. You feel it deeply that what you've seen in imagination, in your imaginary scene, is going to come to pass. Now this comes with practice, fellow Nevillers, and successes of the past, because believe it or not, everything that's happened in your world has been something you've imagined at some point. I know it comes as a shock, it did to me, but that's just the way it is. Consciousness is the only reality. We have to find out what we've got in our consciousness, and the way we do that is to notice our thoughts and then observe them uncritically. Don't beat yourself up mentally like, I'm silly, I shouldn't have done that, which I've done. That's not the way we do it. We just notice it, because all it is an impression that's been made in your subconscious. It's either something you've imagined, well, it is definitely something you've imagined from something you've heard, something you've read, something your parents told you, that school taught you, the television, the media. That's where all these impressions come from, my lovelies, via our senses, which is why Neville tells us to close the door on 3D. Close the door to your senses. Withdraw once a day or even more. Drop into the feeling of your wish fulfilled. So, be a doer, i.e. keep the feeling alive within you, and don't just be a hearer, which is just reading it and not even doing any sats or any imagination. So, fellow Nevillers, thank you for your time and attention. Please leave some thumbs up, some love, a comment. In the meantime, I'll blow you a big fat kiss, and I will see you next time. Thanks for your time and attention, fellow Nevillers. Bye.